Hello, everybody. This is Heidi Ellsworth, and I am with Roofers Coffee Shop, and this is Coffee Conversations. Today is really cutting edge information. We are going to have a great conversation. Very excited for our guests who are here today to talk about customer data evolution. We've all seen it coming. Every single day, we know that we're seeing ads on our internet, on our phone, and we're like, how did they know I was interested in those boots? But today, we're going to talk about how that technology, that information is being used in a win-win scenario in the roofing industry. So first of all, let's get to a little bit of housekeeping. This is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours. In that time, you should share it, get it out to your friends, get it out to everyone, so that they can see this information, because this is the stuff that really helps to build your business and that we are so proud to bring to you. And we are very proud to have SRS as our sponsor for today's data information. A great company, totally on the cutting edge, providing the tools and information that roofing contractors need to build their business, and really bringing the experts to the forefront to be able to make that happen. So today's conversation, customer data, let's go. First, I would like to welcome to our show, Kyle. Kyle, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to a good conversation with everyone.
I am really, really looking forward to this. So Kyle, if you could start, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your company and what you do with it.
Yeah, so my name's Kyle Branch. Work for ProFund. I'm the National Accounts Director. Been with the company 3 years, basically, so since its inception. It's been awesome just watching it grow into what it's become now. And, I'm excited to see where it's going to continue from here.
Yeah, it is. I mean, talk about, I'm really excited about this conversation today, Kyle. So thank you for bringing all of your wisdom and information. This is going to be great. And then, of course, we always want to have the perspective of the roofing contractors, because this is what everyone really is looking for. So I am so excited to have met and introduced Laura Cunningham to the show. Laura, please introduce yourself. Tell everybody about yourself and your business.
Yeah, thanks, Heidi. I am the general manager for Southern Roofing and Renovations here in North Florida. My family started the company 8 years ago, and we are just booming exponentially. We span over 22 locations now and growing with the help of ProFund and Kyle. So glad to be here, guys.
Laura, I'm so excited. And actually, I have to say, I'm in North Florida right now too, in the Tampa area. So today's one of those travel days. I know, it's great. Very good. Well, thank you so much for being here, and we're really excited to hear how you've been using this and how it's working for you. And then finally, Moises, thank you so much for joining us today. Hello. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us about your company?
Yeah, of course. My name is Moises. I'm from Mexico. Originally, right now, I currently live in Las Vegas. We started Select Adjusters and Advocacy Construction about 8 years ago as well. So yes, Laura, we made it past that 5th year, right? And then now we're
Right.
yeah. So always exciting. And yeah, so what we do is public adjusting as well as a roofing contractor side of things. And we're extremely excited to have this conversation just because it involves a lot of technology, which is what has helped us grow, right? And so kind of getting away from what it was to what it is now, and like Kyle said, it's extremely excited to know what it's gonna be. So that's where I'm so excited about this conversation.
I know. I love these things. Cutting edge, really bringing new things into the industry that maybe we just haven't thought about before. So let's start there. So Kyle, if you could start us out with sorry, you know what? Before we start there, I do want to remind everybody the chat is open. So please, comments, questions, thoughts. We want to hear it all. This is a conversation with all of us. So please share your thoughts, and also let us know who you are and where you're from, what kind of business you have. It always makes it fun. Kyle, let's start with customer data. We know about it in the real world, as I call it. And then when we come into our work world, it's a little bit different. So kind of talk to us about how it's being used in roofing and really how ProFund, what you are providing for contractors to really use customer data in a great way.
Yeah, so customer data and kind of just the definition of it, because that's really what we do. So it's the behavioral, demographic, and personal information about customers. And that's what we collect that helps contractors better engage with their homeowners overall. The data we collect is, from a variety of different data points and platforms and everything. Some is public, some is private, some's proprietary to us. But we take all of these different data points and the information, and we really just package it up and present it to a contractor or a salesperson or whoever it is within the company. That's just going to allow them to better engage with their homeowners and just, build that rapport with them.
And so talk about that report that you provide, pulling this different data from all these sources. What's it look like? And really, what does it provide to the contractor and this contractor salesperson to be able to really create that great customer experience?
Yeah, so the property report is specific to each individual profile that's running. A profile is just based off an address. So it will give a breakdown of the ownership information of the home, just some property detail information, hail and wind information, storm history, all of that just going to allow a contractor, here's why I'm recommending these products. Here's where I invested time and money in you and in this appointment. Like, I want to work with you. Why wouldn't you want to work with me? It allows a contractor just to be completely different than everyone else out there.
Mm-hmm. And is it, we had a great question that just came up. Is this available both commercial and residential?
Yes. The information on the property report, it is available for both. The only thing that may just look a little different is when it's depending on the size of the commercial building, it may not be able to grab all of it in the photo to do the aerial views and the numbers on it, like for the base square footage and all of that. But the information as far as the hail and wind and all of that, the property ownership information, if it's under an LLC or a corporation, all of that can be used as well for commercial.
Excellent. So, Kyle, having been part of EagleView with the startup and all of that, I saw a lot of reports, and I realized there are huge companies out there who do this kind of data collection on history of the home, all of that. And to me, that always did seem like a really important part of being able to go into the home or into the business, the commercial business, and be able to have really strong data on the last time it was re-roofed, if you can pull that from building permits, all of this different kind of information. So maybe just, I know it's hail and wind, but just kind of go down a little bit, that information and why that's important to the contractors.
Yeah, so from the contractor standpoint, it really gives the science backing up why you're recommending those products to the homeowner. Because most homeowners, their biggest investment is their home. So they need to protect it. They want to protect it. They want to protect their family, everything like that. So when you're able to sit down and have this property report to give to a homeowner, again, it's meant to be a leave behind. It just shows them that, hey, when we were talking about this, yes, I just had these hail events, these wind events. We have climate factors that are pulled, and in the industry, everyone knows that the climate plays a huge factor in longevity of the roof and all of that. So it just allows them to present it in a professional way, but then also, like I said, have the science backing up. Here's why we're recommending it. It's not just, hey, I want to recommend it to do it.
Right. So Laura, you have been, can you give us a little bit of a history, how you started getting involved using the ProFund data and really what that's done for your business?
Yeah, so it's really helped us with our conversion ratios from how many door knocks our guys are doing that we're having to do to inspection set. So I'm really, instead of them working so hard to get that one inspection, having this data really helps them again with those conversion ratios. Another thing that we're using it for, prior to all of us going out in the field in the afternoon, we do what's called pre-work, right? So we're going to be strategic. The days of transactional selling are done, guys, especially in North Florida. It's an oversaturated market. We all know your brother's a roofer, this person's a roofer, everybody's a roofer. So really having customer data, knowing who you're talking to, it's called situational fluency, right, in sales. So who am I talking to? What are their pain points? What it is important to them? Not what's important to us as we think as contractors, but to each individual buyer. So you have that more of a better customer experience than just coming in trying to sell a roof. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, we see this is important to you, and this is why you should choose us. So it really gathers us and arms us with a lot of information to help with a better customer experience and higher closing ratio is what we're seeing from it.
Yeah. And how long have you been using it? How long?
About 2 years here in Florida. Now, Kyle, I know you work with other branches, but we've been using it for 2 years here. And again, it's part of my training. So when I onboard someone, we walk through ProFund. This is how you're going to use it, not only for financing, but instead of having to go to 5 other different apps like Hail Trace for the climate risk scores or the weather events, it's all in one place. So that really helps you with your time. Time is money. We want to be more efficient. So we really utilize it for that as well.
That's great. And Moises, kind of tell us your history with ProFund, how long you've been using it, and how you've incorporated it into your business.
Yeah, so kind of like Laura, right? So the way we started at first is after COVID, a lot of people were like, I don't have the money, or because I'm out of work or whatever the case was, right? So we were trying to find a financing tool to be able to say, okay, cool, if people don't have the money to do a roof, how can we help them, right? And that was always the focus, is how can we help? How can we help? And then, ProFund kind of fell into our lap, and we were just like, all right, well, can we do financing with you guys? And they're like, yeah, sure. And on top of that, you're going to be able to do this. It was like, hold on. So you tell me that by the time I show up to the client, not only can I offer the financing side of things, but I can also, know a little bit more about the client's behavior when they shop. So I know exactly how to approach the client. And that's kind of what sold us on it, right? Where now I have the capability to focus on what's important, which is the client, right? The client and their needs, right? So, we are, most of our sales here are door to door, right? So we do a lot of door knocking, and you have to get through so much to be able to get to the pinpoint, right? Or the hey, this customer, this is their necessities, right? Or so now with this tool, we don't have to do that. Like, I mean, obviously we still have to, get to know the customer and build that relationship with them. But at least now we show up and we know, okay, this person's main focus is going to be, what's the best brand. And something like that allows us to be able to focus on, again, building that relationship, because people like to buy from people they like. So if I get to build that relationship, they're going to like me right away. And on top of that, if I show up with different, like financing options, or if I already know how they're going to, what their behavior is like when shopping, it's just a tool that allows us to be able to say, great, this is how I'm going to the client, and this is the benefits that I'm getting from it. So that's kind of how I started with ProFund, yeah.
That makes so much sense to me. And I think one of the things I love what you're saying is really understanding the customer, because I have to tell you, so when I take myself out of working in the roofing industry and I take myself as a homeowner, the last thing I want to do is to have to spend a lot of time explaining things to my home improvement people or whoever might come. In fact, I'm to the point now, I just give me a Zoom, and I think as a society and culture, we've changed, and we're a little bit more used to people having information and being able to really help us and not waste a lot of time. I mean, Laura, you said that whole wasting time that really doesn't need to happen. So Moises, as you're talking to some of the customers out there, what is the response? What have you seen since you've started using this customer data?
Great question. So it's one of two responses usually. Okay, thanks for noting that. Or how'd you get that information? So that's usually what we get, right? And the cool thing, I know Kyle explained it a little bit earlier, but also one of the things that I remember that I'm not sure if you touched on, Kyle, was we use our credit cards all the time, and obviously they're gonna, that's how they're able to get our buying points, right? Or what are they called?
Buyer
Buying
persona.
trends. Yeah, buying trends. Yeah.
Correct, buying. So because we use our credit cards all the time, right? Unless of course you
Mhm.
want to buy cash, and there's no way we know anything about you. But that's not the cases anymore, right? So now we even have the little tabless so it's cool to show up to clients' homes, and if they ask that question, is Mr. Homeowner, make purchases with your credit card, right? Yes. That's exactly how we're able to find out exactly if what you like, what you don't like, and at the end of the day, we're making sure that what we're doing goes alongside with your patterns, right? Because if you're not about buying the best of the best and the most expensive, why would I offer you the best of the best and the most expensive? And then that's when they start appreciating it, because I know a little bit more about the client, and I'm offering what's fair for them, right? It's not like if there's a client that it's all about value, I'm not gonna try and upsell them the whole world, right? Now, I don't know if you did this, Laura. I know I did, Kyle, that as soon as I got it, I was like, let me see if it's true. Let me see if this
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did it.
my upsell score is a 5. So I'm like, oh my goodness.
Me too. It's okay.
Yeah, and so you offer me like a better deal that's gonna a little bit more money, so I'm gonna buy it, right? And that's my upsell score. And it's funny because it's true, like the way I actually I pulled up my own personal report, and I'm just like, it's all about quality, and it says very probable, yes. Like conventional shopper, very probable, yes, right? So it's fun to see exactly how this actually portray, when you run the reports on yourself too, because you're gonna do it no matter what.
Yeah.
You see exactly like, oh wow, like this is actually very, very close. So it's fun to be able to show up with the client and already have that in our tool.
Yeah. Well, and Laura, kind of keep going on that thing, because I think this is important. I think there's cynicism out there about customer data and privacy and how that works. And so being able to get, like Moises is getting past, it sounds like with full transparency, like, hey, this is what's happening. And now all of a sudden I can make your life easier. I can make the journey and the sales call faster because of this information. What have you been finding that way, Laura?
It's the same thing. It's the law of averages. You're going to have buyers that appreciate that you come prepared, professional, know about them, and are ready to provide that experience. And then you have the people that are like, how did you get my information? It's my data. They slam the door in your face. I mean, we get that anyway. So, but really how we're using it is part of territory management. When you look at your successful project managers, one thing you'll find with all of them is they work a territory properly. Now with ProFund, this is incorporated into proper territory management, where we say, okay, I have 12 viable buyers in my territory. What I'm going to print out. So they print out, like I said, and some use iPads, what kind of buyer is this person at this home? So they really learn, and they're strategic when they go out versus just going to door knock wherever they go. So again, this is taking the transactional and making it more of a consultant approach in the industry, which I love. And you make more money doing it. If you can come in and provide a better experience, better value, people are going to pay for that. I know I do. So it really has helped us a lot.
I have to tell you, I feel my time is valuable. and I don't want to waste my time. And so if you feel like you're wasting your time during a sales call, you're going to be like shooing them out the door. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do this. Whereas if someone is like gets it and understands kind of where I'm at, I'm much more engaged. And
Yeah.
and you're right. And usually you do it on you upsell. And it's just
Yeah.
good. It makes sense because you want to value,
And then
you want a
another-
product that's going to last.
And another thing we're using it for that's really good is, again, when we're out in the field, instead of having to toggle in between apps, okay, what's my storm date? You know, how many times have we been on a phone with a project manager when they're closing a deal? What's your storm date? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you might want to have that. You know, it is important. So with ProFund, you're able to get all that data in one spot prior to, again, being prepared for that sales interaction.
Awesome. So Kyle, what are you seeing across the country with the use of customer data and really being able to, I'm kind of interested if you're seeing contractors using it in their marketing. How are they kind of incorporating it into their culture, into their business?
So it's a little different kind of across the country, because some areas, there's stormers, some areas it's just, specifically re-roof and residential and that sort of thing. The beauty of our platform is it's really meant to be used however each contractor sees in their day-to-day business. There's different points that can be hit on for different, aspects of each business. Door knocking, it can be used one way to validate the lead and make sure I'm talking to the right person and qualify that lead before I send someone out there, help prioritize the leads of who we need to see today versus tomorrow. And it just allows each individual contractor to really use it however they see fit. That really is the beauty of the platform.
Yeah. So Laura Moises, Laura, start with you. How are you using this in your marketing?
So really our marketing is door to door. That's what our business comprises of here in North Florida. So we really, if you mean as far as like our go to market, as far as mailers and stuff like that, I don't really use it for that part. I'm using ProFund for the financing and the data collection prior to going out in the field. And again, I want to bring this up to you guys. The average project manager is going out, hey, let me open up a claim with your insurance company. I don't know about you guys, but there's kind of a stink around roofers in Florida and insurance companies. People are very sensitive, as they should be. There's been some, unethical roofers. So being able to go to market saying, hey, you and I both know you need a new roof, right? That is the first line of defense on your biggest asset. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and finance it for $299 a month, 0 down, no out of pocket to you. People aren't going to ask for financing, guys, at least the ones, that can finance. So it's our jobs as consultants to come in and start off with financing. And then maybe if they don't want to finance, then you go to insurance, but you're not pushing that same rhetoric of, let me open a claim, let's go through your insurance. It really separates you from everyone else utilizing the funding tool of ProFund.
Well, and Laura, I just want to follow up on that because we know there's a lot going on in Florida. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
And we know there's a lot of changes with insurance companies that are coming up. How do you see, I know a little sidebar here, but I think this is important because what you just said really hits on it, that you're looking at doing things different because the market is changing and
the market
regulations.
We're here, guys. You're here. Either we're going to get on board with these type of solutions or an approach, or you're not going to make it. It's just the way of the world, the industry in itself. And this is a great tool, again, to really separate yourself, to be professional and to provide a great experience and less frustration for your project managers who are out door knocking and don't even know who they're going to talk to. So I really implore everyone on this to really look into ProFund, using it as like a prospecting tool as well as financing.
That's the thing. So Moises, how are you using this in your business? Kind of give us a view day to day, how you're using it.
So I want to point out, like, I love how Kyle talked about how each contractor uses it completely different, right?
Mhm.
We have Laura, who's in Florida. I'm here in Vegas, and yeah, it's a little bit different, right? So as far as marketing, for marketing, that's how we offer our financing, right? But we use it a lot for more inside work, and so what does that mean is we use ProFund to train our guys. Where, hey guys, this is the type of people you're gonna run into, right? This, when you hear this specific things from the client, that means they're a value shopper, they're a comparison shopper, they're gonna be what's the other ones, like all about quality, right? So
Mhm.
when you hear specific things, make sure that you're paying attention to those. And then we use ProFund, right? Like the cool thing about it is that it gives you hey, this is how you should interact with this one specific client. So you offer good, better, best options. And so we use it a lot for training because it allows us to be able to, hey, this is actually they've already utilized all that information to compile into behaviors of the client, right? And so in reality, and I know you've probably seen this, Laura, like how many doors have you knocked over the course of a year?
I
You
can't, my heels go flat. Like I literally have walked the heel stub off my heel. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and so I've had to buy shoes because of the bottom of the shoes. And so,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I guess I need new walking shoes, right?
Yeah.
But so what does that mean but if you notice, a lot of the people don't really change, right?
Mm-mm.
Like it's there when you're knocking on those doors, you're gonna get like it's not at this point. I've knocked doors for over 12 years, and there isn't a surprise anymore, which
No.
people's behavior are the exact same. So the fact that ProFund took their time to say, hey, these are the specific behaviors that you're going to encounter in the field, it gives you the opportunity to know, okay, if these are the behaviors that I'm going to encounter, how can I make it so that I know the most of those behaviors and I look for the specific little things that they say, right? Because Mary right down the street might say something. For her, she's she's the only one that's ever said that. But then you go to John, like 5 doors down the same street, and he says the exact same thing, right? So it's kind of like, well, all right, well, nothing really changed. So the way we use it is we use it a lot for those training opportunities, right? Where we see, okay, cool. On top of being like like a canvassing app, right? Where I already
Mhm.
know who I'm talking with. We've been in Vegas for 8 years now, so we've knocked all of Vegas already. And if I show up to the homeowners and I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going, Mr. Kyle? How do you know my name?" Well, we knocked on the door many, many times, and your roof's still messed up. Hence the reason why I'm here, right? And so that's kind of what we do specifically. And then obviously on top of that, it allows us to be able to have those profiles on the home, right? Understand a little bit more about the house and come a lot more prepared than people that aren't using these kind of tools, right? Because at this point, it's like, yeah, no, see, your house was built in 88. And, I already, one thing that I don't think we've touched on is it already comes with measurements. So I
Yeah.
would quote like that, right? If you already have your preset, charge per square, oh, okay, well, let me see, this much a square times the 23 squares. Perfect. That's what your quote would be, miss. And we can run a quick, you know, credit to see exactly what you would qualify for.
I'm
And
gonna hire you, Moises. When he's
maybe,
oh good.
and so that's why it's beneficial to separate yourself, like Laura was saying earlier. How are you separating yourself, especially in a market like Florida, dude?
It's
That's
hard.
Ah,
It's hard out here, y'all.
I understand that the weather is a little bit better over there than it is over here,
It is. It is. We're a
We
little
got,
spoiled with the weather.
hey, we're about to hit the hundreds already, and
wow.
Really.
yeah,
Wow.
and that's why I'm a little tan already.
So, Moise, okay, I have a question that I'm guessing some people have this, and please, the chat is open. If you have questions about how this is working and kind of how it can work, and I also want to get back a little bit into talking Kyle a little bit about commercial. But before we do that, Moises, I have a question. So you don't think of Las Vegas as really having a lot of weather besides 120-degree days, right? And so we know that roofs aren't going to last as long either because of the heat. So your model of really going door to door to talk to homeowners, you aren't dependent on a storm date. You're not dependent too much on that, right?
Well, obviously we're not gonna have hailstorms. Like
Yeah.
that's the last time it hailed here in Vegas was probably a decade ago. Um, we do have wind, so wind
Mhm.
does help us, right? And obviously, like it's a lot different than like a hailstorm, where the hail you can, you know, gutters and windows and siding and the mailbox and the dog's doggy house, like we don't have that. And so, but that's where a tool like ProFund comes in place, because, like, for instance, let's say the insurance company is only going to pay for half of the roof. Mr. Homeowner, Kyle, we did it. We negotiated as much as we possibly could. The insurance company, it's not gonna pay for that half of the roof because X, Y, or Z. But the cool thing is we got the one half of the roof done. We can go ahead and finance the second half of the roof. And instead of you having to pay, 10, 15, $20,000 for that roof, you only have to finance 5,000. So, we have these different financing options. What works best for you, right? A or B. And so that's why something like ProFund helped us, get to that next level, right? Raise the bar and separate ourselves from a lot of other people where, again, the focus after COVID was, how can we help people not have to spend so much money out of their pocket? Especially right now, I feel like right now we're on it again where, people are like, well, everything's so much more expensive. Groceries are expensive, gas is expensive, this is expensive, that is expensive. And a roof is a necessity, right? Something that somebody needs. It's a need, not a want. And in the Vegas market, not a lot of people are gonna have that, here's 10 grand for a roof, right? And so that's why to be able to have these kind of tools have helped us to get to the next level. So
Wow. So okay, Kyle, let's kind of go back to, because I want to make sure we're talking a lot about residential and door to door, but this kind of customer data can help contractors no matter what their model. If they are more of a traditional roofing company where they are, advertising and maybe on referrals or maybe negotiated work. Talk a little bit about how the contractors you have around the country who are really using this in more traditional don't even want to say traditional, but in different ways, different marketing, business ways around commercial, around maybe custom homes, high end, all of those things.
So the commercial piece is, for someone who does majority commercial, there's only really a certain amount of information that is useful for them. It's mainly meant for more of the residential, re-roof, insurance, door knocking, all of that. One thing that they both have mentioned with the door knocking, so people who do that, with how we have the buyer personas, what most people do is, when you walk up, what car's in the driveway? Is the lawn manicured? Look at, their shoes, their earrings, their belt, whatever the case is. That's what our personas do, just way more in depth. And then, like Moises was mentioning, oh, well, Mary says one thing and Joe says the same thing. It's like, well, where's the difference? But that's where we tell you what the difference is. For people that go off of referrals and word of mouth and that sort of kind of business, what we've seen from that is the ability for them to really prioritize their leads. If they have 10 people they're going to see, well, we're going to focus on these 6 because it's a better opportunity overall for us, because we give an opportunity value for each lead that's put in. And then we'll just bump these back to tomorrow or later in the day, but we want to prioritize the ones that are going to bring us more revenue. And then the other aspect of, word of mouth or anything like that is a lot of people we heard would round robin leads. So I have 5 salespeople. Well, we got 10 leads. Everyone gets 2. It's not always the best way. So what we started to hear from that is they would use different features of the report and of the personas and everything like that. And hey, well, I'm going to specifically assign these to you, or here's a 7,000 square foot roof. Do I want to give it to the person I hired a week ago? Because they're not going out to those leads beforehand. So they don't know any of that information. All you do is put in an address, and that's where we give you that. So that's where it's helped from that side of things. And then from the door knocking and the other piece, hopefully that, explained it a little bit better for the different avenues.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because Tom just said, and thank you, Tom, so much. It says, seems like it would be easier to pre-qualify a business for a loan than an individual. The idea of bringing financing to our client is very attractive. And so I'm kind of thinking, in every town you have, we tend to get kind of caught up in the big national companies or the, chains and all of that. But every town has these small bowling alleys or pizza, private building owners who, to Tom's point, probably need help with
Right.
financing and qualifying.
So if we're talking about the financing aspect, it's the financing is more of a fit for residential. The commercial financing is kind of a fine line to walk before it turns into more of, a traditional loan or something like that. We have had, certain things we've had a church get done, but the only reason that one got done is because the owner of the church actually did everything under their own personal residential information. And then there's a section in the loan application where you can put where is the work being done at. And that's how they were able to get approved. But commercial loans, we're not really in that sort of field right now. I don't know what the future holds for it, but I know it is kind of a fine line to walk where, how many people are going to give out $3-4 million to repair my facility just for the roof. I don't know. I'm not a finance expert.
Yeah.
But that's it's a very different type of lending that we're just not involved in right now.
Well, and Tom, I think that's this is what this is all about, right? Taking this kind of information and saying, wait a minute, this should be able to be used over here for other things. And so this may be one of those things that we want to be looking at the coffee shop and researching and bringing some of that information back. So I think that's a great point. And when I really look at, lots to consider. When I really look at contractors who are doing both residential and light commercial, which are in, every town across the country, one of the things, and I think this is really something that people might want to consider, is there are a number of contractors out there who are doing only metal roofing. Maybe metal roofing is their, that's their thing. It seems to me, and Laura, you're kind of shaking your head, that these reports would help you then qualify the types of customers. Like you said earlier, Kyle, you have these reports and you're able to now qualify them as they come in and say, these guys would be perfect for metal. These guys would be perfect for composite. So Laura, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love that. So that's again coming to the table with options, right? A, B, and C. Option A, we can finance stone-coated steel or tile, or you can do shingles or metal. And that buyer likes to have options. So coming to the table, hey, Mr. Homeowner, I know you're looking to get a re-roof. Not only do we offer shingles, but we can offer metal and different options as well. So knowing that's going to be a conversation, having that ready for that appointment, would be beneficial, is beneficial.
Put them out there. Yeah.
And one of the things that's actually on the property report, as we talked about it earlier, there's one of the pages or pieces of the report is a property overview. So we'll have an overview picture of the roof. and it'll actually tell you what's already on there. So if
Okay.
you see metal, you can walk up and you know exactly what to do there, or do you want to keep something similar, or do you want something different? And then you can kind of adjust your pitch from there.
Exactly. So we do have a question, Kyle, and I think this is more towards you. Thank you, Scott, so much for putting this in. It said, regardless of commercial jobs, is SRS utilizing this product to finance direct to consumer projects or contractors that bring them projects to supply, or both?
I can't speak on behalf of SRS. So SRS is our largest partner. The financing piece of it is because we're not even the lender. We have nothing to do with that. We are the pro side, the sales and closing tool, the information, all of that. The fund side is just the partnered lenders that we have, and they use our platform in order to connect with homeowners. And then everything's between, you know, the homeowner and the lender. We have nothing to do with, you know, the applications or whether or not someone gets approved or denied or whatever the case is for that. So I from SRS's side of it, I guess just with the partnership, it's able to be directly from the lender using our platform to the homeowner. I hope that answers your question, Scott.
And and Kyle, kind of part of the I see is you're the technology that links it all together. So
Yes.
getting the customer data into the contractor's hands so they can make a good customer experience. And then from there, correct me if I'm wrong, and then from there, connecting the consumer with the financing options.
So if
And
it's
being
ever
able to-
needed, all they do is click a button, and then it's between the homeowner and the lender, and they do all of that.
Yeah. So it makes it easy right there, all in one technology.
Yes, it's probably a 1-minute application. It's a soft pull to their credit, and then the homeowner gets an instant decision.
So Moises, technology. Let's talk. And you and Laura both brought this up earlier. But it used to be you would have several different apps that you needed to look at. This solution for you and for your company seems to have brought that into a simpler one-stop kind of shop. How's that been working for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, before I move on to that question, which great
Yeah.
question, by the way, I want to point back something that Kyle mentioned earlier, and I don't know if people get the importance of this. When it comes to the leads that you get, right? We do utilize other tools to get leads, right? People that call in, not just the door-to-door, right? And those leads are a little bit more interested already because they're the ones calling you. And so when we do the reports on those and we see like the upsell score, where it's like, ooh, this person is a 5, right? Kyle, and like Kyle mentioned it, should I give it to the guy that just started 2 weeks ago, or should I, give it to my most experienced sales rep, right? And so the reason why I'm bringing that up again is because that's so important in the training, right? And the cool thing too is the higher somebody gets within my company, right? Hey, you're gonna start getting more leads that come in, right? Instead of you having to go knock looking for those leads, you're gonna start getting those leads. And so, but obviously, the better you get, the more of those leads you get. And so that's super, 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 super important, because it allows you to categorize, right? And someone's like myself, where my up score sale is a 5, and you're telling me that, hey, on top of the roof, you can get the fascia, you can get the gutters, you can get this, and that. You might want to give that to a sales rep that has that experience, not somebody that's just, all right, well, I think you can change the entire roof, And so, but to go back to your technology question, if people back in the day, when I started knocking doors, I remember I used to have like a tracking sheet, right? Where it was just a piece
Yeah.
of
The
paper.
printed paper, but
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. We had to turn it in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Look, did you work for a company that did door to door and did all these things and the 4s, 5s, and 8s? and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Copier. Yeah, copier sales. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to, before this, I was internet, phone, and TV. So yes, exactly that, right?
Yeah.
But it was like a tracking sheet of, okay, I talked to this many people, I did this many, routes, I did this many loops, I've talked to this many decision makers, right? Even your presentations, right? Like, all right, Mrs. Homeowner, this is what you currently got right now. This is exactly how we're gonna do it for you, moving forward. So now with this technology, is all that is in my fingerprints, right? Like I can utilize this little thing and just, okay, cool. Who am I talking to today? Perfect. I'm talking to Kyle Branch, right? Yeah, what do I know about Kyle? And it's all right here. So unfortunately, a lot, and I throw myself in there too, is we use this for, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, things and entertainment. But a lot of times we forget that this is actually a tool to grow, right? Like if you're using it correctly, like think about it. On top of getting the property details, I use other different apps that allow us to be able to just, even create reports like this, right? Where let's say, one of the big ones on top of Profund that I use is Company Cam. So I utilize I take a screenshot of the property details and then add it into the Company Cam, like a little report, and then boom, send that to the homeowner. And that takes me literally like a minute, maybe two. It takes me longer to go up there and take the pictures than it is to create that actual report. Something that back in the day, it was like, oh my goodness. All right, well, let me, here it goes. And let me type it up and let me grab that one picture and then put it into the other picture. So as we talked about earlier, and if you guys notice, this is a little topic, it's constant in the conversation today, is time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Importance of time and how are we spending that time. And so with this, again, it gets me the opportunity to spend the correct time with what matters the most, and that is with the customer, right?
Right, the customer.
And I get the opportunity to spend the time with the customer, getting to know them, getting to know their needs, getting to know that, building that relationship. That's what matters the most, because at the end of the day, as I mentioned earlier, people are gonna buy from people they like, right?
Yeah.
So how do I get somebody to like me? Just build a relationship with them. And
Trust.
yeah.
That is so Laura, how have you brought all these technologies? Because this is a huge challenge for contractors and for every company, I don't care who you are, to really incorporate the right technologies, the ones that are going to save time, that are going to make things happen. Talk to a little bit how you're doing that with your business.
Yeah, again, so really when everybody onboards and as they go on, instead of having, 15 different apps for tracking weather or going to the county appraiser to see when the last re-roof was, people are really still doing it the old way. To your point, Moises, maybe they don't have the call log sheets. I've seen a project manager do that, which was amazing, but people are still doing it the old fashioned way. And we have to break habits. So a lot of people coming in that you'll hire, that I've hired, they don't want to do it. They, for some reason, getting them to pull up Profund and go to, it's a struggle. But once you get them there, I had one guy look at me and said, this has saved me so much time in my closing ratio. So I was able to help him to be better, to get more deals. And again, we want to be intentful, right, guys?
Yeah.
Our time is money. When you go out in the field, I mean, the hardest part is opening the door. Let's plan, let's be ready, utilize what we have. Make it work smarter, not harder, right? The old saying goes, it's still
Yeah.
true today. So that's really what this tool has done for us here in North Florida.
I think, I love your point about culture, because I think it is a changing culture. And, when I kind of flip to the others, I think it's having technology adoption in the older generations is tougher, but
Yeah.
not having technology is like almost death for a company with the young generations. You have to be using technology. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Moises.
I'll give you a quick one. It's something that still baffles me, right? I've had people that decide to go with me just because of the fact that I use a drone. Like I don't, there's times that I don't even have to get up on a roof, right? And the fact that we're using, for us, his name is Droney. And so But the fact that we're using a drone to be able to take those awesome aerial pictures and
Yeah.
the pictures all around the roof, and I can get the drone as close as here and take the picture there. But again, that's part of technology, right? And then you create a report like a reporting company can, and then on top of that, you create a property report for the homeowner. And all this within minutes. Like, this is not something that back in the day used to take forever, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, I'll get to your estimate, Mr. Homeowner, in about 2 or 3 days. I can get an estimate done. Again, it's gonna take me a lot longer to just take the pictures than it is to create the entire report and estimate for the roof, right? And so, but yeah, what was that question, James?
No, it's good. Well, and we do have a question here. It says, I like what Moises was saying about the reports after you get off the roof. We use an application called, okay, now James, you said it 2 different ways. So it's either Riot or Tie
It's
It. I'm not-
Riot. Yeah, it's
Riot.
Riot.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And it actually won Innovation of the Year last year with Owens Corning. It creates a report and give the roof a score, which helps then when using it hand in hand with ProFund for financing. So have you both used Riot?
Yes. So Riot is talking about technology. So Riot is an application that our founder and president JT created. And what it is, it's an inspection. Yeah. Moses has heard of it.
Yeah.
So he created Riot. So we use Riot in conjunction with ProFund. And again, we're taking all of those other apps and we've put them together with ProFund, Riot, and it's really streamlined everything we're doing. So that's what James is referring to, I think.
Very cool, Laura. That's
Yeah,
it.
good stuff.
There we go. And I also love the fact that as we talk about this all the time, but that incorporation of technology is really what is defining the next generation of roofing companies.
And you know what's crazy? I want to jump in this one real quick. I read a report recently that for every 10 contractors that are retiring, they're only getting replaced by 3.
Yeah.
So 10 leave,
Wow.
3 come in. So
Yeah.
what does that mean? Is we're gonna have to find a way to be better, be quicker,
Yeah.
faster,
Do more.
correct, do more, be smarter. And hopefully out of those 10 that are leaving, those 3 that are coming in have the tools and understand that there are tools now that what used to be back in the day, it's not anymore, right? And I think that's why a lot of companies do separate themselves, because the fact that they're utilizing those type of tools. And so,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think technology's just kind of become the way of the world. Just about everything is, digital now. So it's, if you're not being able to keep up with the times, and you'll fall behind others.
Yeah, it is so true. So, okay, Kyle, how do contractors get involved? How do they start using this customer data? And we've already talked about how to use it once they get it, but how do they get it?
Go to profund.net. So our website is profund.net. Everyone starts with a free 14-day trial. The one thing with SRS being our largest partner is that if you have an account with them, you get a discount on the monthly subscription per month. But yep, there it is on the screen. It's very quick and easy to start. It takes about a minute to sign up and start your free trial. And then once you start the free trial, someone from our team will actually reach out, one of our regional managers, and help set up a demo, a training, make sure everyone understands the platform, and then kind of off and running from there.
Yeah. And so, I think that's really, and to the comments we had earlier, this is about the research and really talking to other contractors to see how it's worked for them. And what, I kind of started this whole conversation even before we went on started streaming. I was like, okay, people are scared of their customer data, their privacy and everything. But Laura and Moises, you have really, I love the transparency. I love the transparency of, hey, this makes the customer experience better. better in the long run. And we're able to do more. I mean, so many different things have come in, and just being able to get more done and take care of the customer, especially after a hurricane or a wind event or those different types of things. So, Laura, last thoughts on why contractors should kind of look at changing how they're looking at things.
Again, guys, it's no longer the days of transactional selling. You really are going to have to separate yourself from your competition. And part of that is preparing your team and your reps. And again, the success of our project managers is on us at the end of the day. That's another element. It's our job to bring this technology to our people to better them in the field. So it really has done that for us. I highly recommend it for you guys to at least try and utilize it for prospecting. And I love what Moises said, training your guys to know about situational fluency, what kind of buyer they're dealing with. Use it in your training, but this has really helped us. And I'm glad to be a part of this conversation. Good stuff.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. Moises, last thoughts.
Oh, goodness. I mean, the conversation itself has gone so well because of the fact that what we're trying to do here, it's educate all the other contractors, right? Where, hey, we understand that there were ways of doing things, but there are better ways now. Now, is it the best way? I'm not gonna say that, not one way is the best way, right? But, someone like Laura, someone like myself, it's a way that has helped us grow. It's a way that has helped us develop our team to be better, develop ourselves to be better. It's a way that has allowed us to be able to, as we continue to mention, create that customer experience to be so different than than the norm, right? On that same study that I read, it's talked about how the roofer contractor, unfortunately, is the least trusted contractor.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true, and that sucks because
Yeah.
if you really think about it, right? What's the roof? The roof covers everything that's important in a home, right? From the family to the possessions of home, or whatever you want to call it. And the fact that, the roofer contractor is the least trusted, it hurts. It hurts a little bit, right?
It does.
So
Yes.
these kind of tools are helping us, change that, right? Go from the very bottom, because unfortunately that's where we are as contractors, and continue to make our way up to the top, right? To where eventually, hopefully, there's going to be a time where nationwide, like, hey, I trust that roofer. I
Yes.
like that person, right? And I know, there's a lot of contractors out there that no, my clients trust me, and good for every single one of us that are in that position, right? Because we have worked and utilized tools like ProFund, gotten the opportunity to listen to conversations like this, right? That are helping us get, a little higher than the norm, right? A little bit higher than the norm. And we continue to push that bar up. Eventually, it's just going to be great all the way around, right? So that way we don't have the things that happen in Florida, the things that happen here in Nevada all the time. And that's how with little tools, not little, with tools like this are gonna allow us to take those little steps to separate ourselves from everybody around.
Yeah. So true. So well said. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being on today. What a great conversation. I loved it. So I just want to say, Laura, Moises, Kyle, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
For having
you.
me. Yeah.
I appreciate you having us on.
Well, let's thank SRS too. So thank you, SRS, for sponsoring this, bringing this conversation to the forefront, really taking it on. I think these are conversations that aren't always easy, but boy, after this hour, it's definitely a conversation that we all are like, yes, we got to make it. There you go. Okay, what is that?
This is Kyle, you want to explain real quick what it is, brother?
I didn't know he was going to pull that out. So that is for so SRS has a group, it's the Paralatinos.
I love
And
it.
that is the wrestling belt that goes out to the top Paralatino contractor in the country. And
There you
it
go.
was Moises.
Yeah, Moises. Congratulations.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have a story on that too. So Moises,
Yeah, that's
stay
good.
tuned. We'll be coming back to talk to you about that. That is awesome. Thank you so much for bringing that out, and thank you all again. For everyone out there, please know you can get more information on ProFund in the SRS directory on Roofers Coffee Shop. Of course, you can email us if you want more information. Heidi at rooferscoffeeshop. Try that again. Heidi at rooferscoffeeshop.com. And please check us out. We will be having another coffee conversations in 2 weeks, and it is going to be very cool. We are going to be the starting of celebrating Mental Health Month for May, so important for the roofing industry. And we will be having all kinds of great information for you throughout the month. So take care. Thank you all for being here and have a great day.